I have had this for a bit now, and a few people asked me about it, so here is my take. At its core, this is a wood pellet grill that also works as a smoker and an outdoor oven. I see it making the most sense for someone who likes the idea of smoked food, but does not want to babysit a fire for hours. It is also for someone who cooks for family or friends and wants steady, repeatable results without standing next to the grill the whole time. If you love fiddling with airflow, building a coal bed, and chasing temperatures as part of the fun, this might feel a little too automated. For me, I like cooking, but I do not always want cooking to take over my entire afternoon. What makes it different from a charcoal kettle or a propane grill is the way it controls heat. I load pellets into the hopper on the side, set a temperature, and the grill feeds pellets as needed to hold that temperature. That changes the whole rhythm of cooking. I am not opening vents, I am not guessing if the fire is dying, and I am not hovering with a thermometer in my hand the entire time. It feels more like using an oven that happens to live outside and makes food taste like wood smoke. Physically, it is a barrel-shaped grill on a cart, and it takes up a real footprint. It is not something I would want to drag out of a shed every time. Mine has basically claimed a permanent spot on the patio. The exterior feels sturdy enough for normal outdoor use, and the lid has a solid weight when you open and close it. Inside, the grates have a slick finish that is easier to wipe down than bare metal. It is not indestructible, but it does not feel flimsy either. The wheels help, especially if you need to reposition it to avoid wind, but I still treat it like a piece of patio equipment, not a portable grill. Setup was not as scary as I expected. It took me about an hour working at a normal pace. The instructions were clear enough, and nothing required special tools beyond what most people already have. The only part that slowed me down was being careful with alignment so the lid sat right and the cart felt square. Once it was together, day-to-day use was straightforward. Pellets go in, power on, set the temperature, wait for it to come up to heat, put food on. That is basically it. In real life, what I notice most is how steady it runs once it is warmed up. I have done long cooks where I would normally expect temperature swings on charcoal, especially if the weather changes. With this, it holds close enough that I stop thinking about it. That matters because it changes how you plan your day. I can start a pork shoulder in the morning, check the app while I am doing other stuff, and only walk out when I need to wrap it, spritz it, or pull it off. The grill is still doing its job in the background. I have cooked a mix of things on it, because I wanted to see whether it is only good for slow smoking or if it can replace a normal grill for weeknight food. For ribs, it is almost too easy. I season, set the temperature, and let it run. The smoke flavor is there, but it is not that heavy, aggressive smoke you get from an offset smoker. It is more of a steady, clean smoke taste that most people will enjoy. When I did chicken thighs, the skin came out decent, but I had to be mindful about finishing. If I want really crisp skin, I either run a higher temperature near the end or I finish them another way. The chicken still tastes good, but this is not the kind of heat that blasts the outside like direct flame. Burgers are fine, but they are different. They come out evenly cooked with a little smoke, and that is nice, but you do not get the same hard sear you can get over ripping hot charcoal. I can get some browning, but if your goal is that steakhouse-style crust, this is where you will notice the limitation. I have also done steaks on it, and I get good doneness control, but the outside is more of a roasted finish unless I take extra steps. For my own cooking, I treat this as a smoker and an outdoor oven first, and a high-heat searing grill second. One thing I ended up using more than I expected is the ability to cook things that are not barbecue. I have baked potatoes that came out with a light smoke and a fluffy inside. I have done pizza on a stone and it works, but you need to manage expectations. You can get a crisp bottom if the grill is hot enough and you preheat the stone long enough. It is not the same as a dedicated pizza oven, but it is a fun option. I even tried cookies once just to see if it would hold a steady baking temperature, and it did. The main theme is that it behaves like a controlled heat box with smoke flavor, which opens up a lot of cooking styles. The smart features are helpful in a practical way, not in a gimmicky way. I can check the grill temperature from my phone, change the set temperature, set timers, and look at the meat probe reading without walking outside and lifting the lid. That last part matters because lifting the lid dumps heat and extends cook time. When I am doing a long cook, I like being able to glance at the probe temp while I am cleaning up the kitchen or watching a game inside. It reduces the number of times I go out there just to reassure myself everything is fine. That said, the app experience is not perfect. My initial wireless setup took a couple of tries. It was not a disaster, but it was one of those moments where you are standing there with your phone, waiting for it to connect, wondering if you did something wrong. After I got it paired, it has been stable for me, but I would not call the setup process foolproof. Also, I learned pretty quickly that the meat probe is useful, but I still double-check with my own instant read thermometer when I really care about the exact finish. The probe gets me close and keeps me informed, but if I am serving guests, I like a quick confirmation. Pellet usage is something you learn by living with it. On longer cooks, you need to be aware of the hopper level. I have not run out mid-cook because I check it, but it is part of the routine. If I am starting something that will run for many hours, I make sure it is topped off. Different temperatures and weather seem to change how fast it burns pellets, so I do not rely on a single rule of thumb. I just peek in before I commit to a long cook. Cleaning is also part of the reality. The grates are not hard to scrub, especially if you do it while they are still a little warm. Grease management is decent, and drips go where they are supposed to go, but you still have to stay on top of it. Every so often, I vacuum out the fire pot area because ash builds up. If you ignore that, you are asking for inconsistent starts and weird behavior. It is not hard maintenance, but it is maintenance. Wind and cold weather do affect it. In mild weather, it is set and forget. When it is colder or windy, it takes longer to preheat, and it works harder to hold temperature. It still cooks fine, but I plan more preheat time, and I do not expect it to be as efficient. If you live somewhere with real winters, you will notice that. So overall, I like using the Traeger Pro 575 because it makes smoking and steady outdoor cooking feel manageable on a regular day. The food tastes good, the temperature control reduces stress, and the phone control actually fits the way I cook. The main limitations are the same ones I see with a lot of pellet grills. You do not get that intense direct flame sear, and the smoke flavor is more moderate than a traditional offset smoker. The wireless setup can also be a little annoying the first time. If those trade-offs sound fine to you, this is a very easy grill to live with. If you have questions about anything I cooked on it, or you want me to test a specific recipe or cut of meat on this grill, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.